Hey YouTube, it's Mark.
And Rocky.
And we are
This Cruise Life.
Today we're going to share with you the full review of our sailing on board MSC Meraviglia.
Yeah, we set sail on a ship within a ship, the Yacht Club.
Oh my gosh, what a cool experience this was. Today's review is going to be focused on the Yacht Club experience on board MSC Meraviglia, but be sure to hit that subscribe button because what did we do today?
We just booked another MSC Meraviglia cruise.
We wanted to sail a standard room so that we could compare and contrast the two for you. So this review truly is focused on the Yacht Club, so let's jump in.
Typically when we do these reviews of our experience on a cruise ship, we are wearing the merchandise from the ship itself. Unfortunately, the MSC Meraviglia souvenir shop was lacking in the product that we could buy to be able to wear.
It was one of the weakest cruise lines gift shops I've ever seen. I remember there were like 4 shirts that were hanging.
And they were all on clearance.
It was weird. Anyway, so you get to deal with us in our polos because we dressed for the Yacht Club experience. So let's, in true This Cruise Life fashion, let's jump into what we loved.
What we didn't love.
And what we hated about MSC Meraviglia.
Let's start with the food.
Of course.
Oh my gosh, the food was unbelievable in the Top Sail Lounge. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with what the Yacht Club entails, the ship within a ship experience has its very own private lounge space. The lounge is great for places to meet up with other passengers. You can...
Other Yacht Club passengers.
Of course, other Yacht Club.
Because it's behind lock and key.
That's right. You also have a private bar with bar service and wonderful hostesses and hosts walking around taking your order.
So you might be wondering, why is Rocky talking about this in the food section of what we loved?
Well, one of the other things that the Top Sail Lounge offers is unlimited supply of canapes. 20 hours a day, you can go into the lounge and find an assortment of different canapes.
It was unbelievable. And they rotated those canapes from morning to mid-morning to afternoon to mid-afternoon.
Yep.
Like there were always a fresh and new selection of canapes on that serving area in the Top Sail Lounge.
I could go for some of that Parmesan right now with that pear honey. It was so good.
Honestly, I think the first day we probably were in the Top Sail Lounge 8 or 9 times just checking to see what fresh I have never had a canapé before.
Yeah.
And so this became something that we absolutely loved about the sailing. Honestly, we ate so many. We ate in that Top Sail Lounge all week long. Every single day.
We always checked it out.
Always.
So one of the other venues that is available for Yacht Club passengers is the Top Sail Restaurant. Mm-hmm. The Top Sail Restaurant was definitely another step up in dining experience.
It was a cut above, y'all. On the classics menu for the Top Sail Restaurant, they had things like filet mignon that you could get every day, along with my favorite, the daily rotating risotto.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, the truffle risotto.
Yes,
I still can't decide if the truffle risotto or the champagne risotto was my favorite, but on the final night, the chef made me an extra batch of champagne risotto so that I could enjoy it one more time. I mean, that food...
I'm a fan of lamb, as you may recall from watching some of our other previous videos, and they also had different lamb cuts every night on the menu. It was wild.
I've never seen this guy eat so much lamb before. But we ate very, very well. I would say we loved the exclusive restaurant. The food was, honestly, it was specialty dining type food every single night.
Yes.
In fact, we didn't eat dinner in any of the other restaurants on board because we wanted to experience the menus, and we're going to post them on the website.
We have a video as well coming out that's going to feature all of the dinner menus that we enjoyed across the sailing.
Yeah, so thiscruiselife.com, and of course you've already clicked subscribe, so you'll get all of those menus from the Yacht Club.
Yeah. So we did leave the Yacht Club on occasion to go explore the ship and try some other food on board, and that brought us into the Meraviglia's buffet. This was a very large buffet. I was impressed.
I'm telling you, I have learned since we've started cruising other lines how massive cruise line buffets can actually be. And there were so many options. That ethnic corner, oh my gosh. The noodles and the chow mein and the kung pao chicken. I mean, that was amazing. It was, again, sit-down restaurant quality in there.
It was. And that's where I discovered my love for the MSC pizza. Thank you so much for everyone who has recommended it. So we did not miss out on that pizza.
But don't forget, they also had a healthy corner.
They
So
did.
I got a salad one day that I doused in salad dressing. It was healthy.
Yep.
They had so many different desserts.
They had a dessert bar always available. And then they also had a regular bar. Drink service was available in the buffet area.
Which I love.
But let's not talk about too much drinks
I
yet.
love that when there is service right there in the buffet.
It was great.
So the food was really good. We enjoyed it. The busy times of the day where you would expect it was crowded. People were standing around. It was hard to get in and out. But overall, the food I thought was really good.
Right.
And to help reduce the crowding, they tell you on every single table, once you're done, get out.
Yeah, move. You know what? There was another feature that I saw on the MSC's buffet that I've never seen before, and that was a kids buffet. It was so cool.
Separate.
We're not kids. We
Separate
don't
kids
have
buffet.
kids. They have signage all over that says, please reserve these meals for kids. But we took a look at it, and there was some really cool options in there. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich, yes, please.
It was super cool. And what it meant is that the kids weren't all in the standard buffet. They had their own special area on the ship, which I loved that.
Loved that. Now, one of the features that we did absolutely enjoy multiple times from their buffet.
I wouldn't say enjoy. I would say loved.
We did. It's true. We did love it. And that was the midnight buffet. Every night of the cruise, they had a midnight buffet running from midnight until 2 a.m. And the selection was not small.
I mean, it was the largest late night buffet food I've ever seen. Scrambled eggs. I got scrambled eggs and bacon every
so
single
good.
night. They were so good, but it didn't stop there. They also had that same healthy corner. So you could get salads and quinoas and all sorts of options on the healthy corner.
And they had pizza and little bites of sandwiches. Remember those egg salad sandwiches? Those
and the
were so
chicken
good.
salad sandwiches
yes.
were really good. And,
Yes.
oh my gosh. And again, once again, they had a full dessert station.
Oh, yeah.
Huge dessert station.
Yeah.
So at a couple of times at 1:30.
It was 1:30, we closed it down.
We closed it down. We got up and we got food. We did make a mistake, so this was a learning for y'all who are staying in the yacht club. You can't bring food back from the buffet into the top sail lounge.
Right.
No outside food is permitted. When you sneak out of the yacht club, keep that out of the yacht club or bring it back to your stateroom. That's what we ended up doing. We brought it back to our stateroom.
That's true. Overall, very impressed with the buffet selection on MSC Meraviglia.
Now, we did not try the specialty restaurants this sailing. We plan to when we sail again in April. We really wanted to focus this sailing on enjoying breakfast, lunch. Oh, we didn't even mention breakfast in the top sail restaurant and the Deck 19.
Right. So there is another spot on the MSC's Yacht Club where you can go and get breakfast and lunch from a buffet line, and it is exclusive to the Yacht Club guests, Deck 19.
But it's not your standard buffet. It's got steaks and it's got make your own like seafoods and like it was gourmet. Even the buffet in the Yacht Club was gourmet.
Yeah. It was fantastic going up there for our breakfast and lunches when we were hungry and we didn't want to venture out into the ship.
Yep.
One of the other things that I absolutely loved about the Top Sail restaurant was their dessert selection.
Oh my gosh, when the maitre d' would flambe the desserts
Yes.
and you could watch them make them in front of you.
Cherries Jubilee.
Oh, those cherries Carnival Jubilee were the best dessert I think I had in the 9 days on board
They
that
were
ship.
good. And they had their standard selection of tiramisu. And their
it every day.
tiramisu was not anything to shake a stick at. It was very good. We loved that.
I don't know why you would shake a stick at tiramisu, but
I
I
would.
didn't. Not even once did I do that. It was so good.
It was.
And they had standard things that were on the menu every day. Grandma's chocolate cake was on there every day.
Never tried it.
But that's right, we didn't.
I wanted to try it.
But they rotated new items every day, like the cherries Jubilee, like that. What was that thing that he deep fried?
Or what that was.
Anyway, they made fresh items right in front of you. The cheese trolley for dessert.
The cheese trolley was
If you're
cool.
staying in the yacht club, trust me, get the cheese trolley. I mean, there are so many different cheeses and jams and spreads. Oh,
Yeah.
God, I love the food on that ship.
And then the food followed us off the ship.
It did to Ocean House.
Ocean House at Ocean Cay, MSC's private island.
Mm-hmm.
So Ocean House was open for lunch service starting at noon the day that our ship docked in Ocean Cay. And of course, we had to check it out. Their selection on the menu was astonishing.
Beach gourmet food.
It really was.
I mean, colonial style home where you're eating. And we had our first ever lobster roll,
Yep.
which was delicious.
Very good. We also had crab ceviche, which was also really good and unexpected.
I'm hungry.
Yeah,
I'm
me too.
literally hungry talking about this. Even the burger in Ocean House was an elevated burger experience. And the desserts were good. The drinks were okay, but we're not in the drinks yet.
No.
And then Ocean K also had food trucks out there. If you're in the yacht club, I would tell you eat in Ocean House versus the food trucks.
Yeah.
That's my tip to you.
I agree. That is a lot of food that we just talked about. I can't believe how good the food was on this ship. I'm going to give this 5 ships out of 5 ships. Mark?
Absolutely agree with you. We ate so well for those 9 days. My pants were tight when I got home, and I was completely okay with it.
Let's start talking about the drinks we loved on this cruise.
Oh my gosh, but it started before we even got on the ship. So part of the yacht club experience, you get your own dedicated lounge where they serve champagne and mimosas and sparkling water. And they had butlers wandering around that lounge the entire time we waited to board the ship, refilling glasses. That was something that I absolutely loved.
It was so cool. And that followed us right onto the ship into the top sail lounge.
They handed out drinks.
They handed out drinks. Let me tell you, we started to get to know those bartenders and they knew us. They knew what spirits we liked. Anytime we would walk into the top sail lounge, morning, noon, or night, it didn't matter what time it was, they would automatically start asking, what can I get started for you? I know that you like this type of whiskey. I know you like this gin. And they would start to come up with a great concoction for us.
But Rocky, we didn't even need to leave our stateroom if we didn't want to.
No.
So the yacht club, our butler stopped by on the first day and said, what would you like in your minibar? And what liquor would you prefer for your sailing?
Oh, we were taken care of.
Say what? Okay, yes, please.
Yeah.
We will have a bottle of Belvedere. That sounds
vodka.
Delicious.
And the great part about that is, continuing on to talk about our minibar, we had plenty of juices available to be able to mix with our vodka.
Sodas.
We had
beers,
sparkling water. Not that you would mix water with vodka, but...
Some people might, sparkling. But there were so many options. And Nilesh, our butler, asked us right from day one, what would you like to see stocked? And that Fanta orange drink.
Oh, that was so good.
Gosh, it was so good. Not sponsored by Fanta.
Those bottled drinks were actually imported from Italy. So you had the authentic taste from Italian sodas. It was so cool.
It was so awesome. But there were drinks all around the ship, too.
Yeah, and so as we were walking around the ship, we were wearing our wearables from the yacht club, and all we had to do was show that, and the bartenders and the wait staff would be like, right away, we'll get that taken care of for you. They would see it, and they would approach us immediately and make sure that we were taken care of. We never went thirsty on this entire cruise.
It really shows that MSC trains the staff around the ship to pay attention to these yacht club wristbands.
Yes.
We felt special regardless of which bar we went to. I loved the champagne bar at the aft of the ship, the Champagne and Edge bar.
Yeah.
Loved it. They had champagne cocktails. That is something that I plan to check out again in April, and I am super excited for it.
Yes. I actually was a huge fan of the Sky Lounge. Jose, the bartender, if you're watching this, shout out to you for taking care of us and our group of friends. It was amazing service. If you get to sail on the Meraviglia within the next couple of months and you find Jose in that Sky Lounge, tell him Mark and Rocky said hello. He was awesome.
It was great.
I would also like to shout out that the Horizon Bar, they had quite a selection, and we made some really great friends who were also in the yacht club with us. They ventured out, and Darlene and Steve, if you're watching, thank you so much for the great tips.
And we were here in October, had a great time. When we came back this time, the whole staff remembered us, our names, what we drank. It's the crew that makes the cruise.
I have a beer in the wine glass.
And the beer in the wine glass, like my wife likes to drink.
Like they remembered I have my beer. They remember that I like my beer in a wine glass. In
From
a fancy
October.
glass. From October.
Yep,
See? The best.
the best. The best crew.
Woo! To the crew! To the crew!
You got a little seats right there.
Apparently, the Horizon Bar is the it spot. If you're not drinking in the yacht club, you're drinking at the Horizon Bar. And there were some late night shenanigans there. Remember the shots poured with Fireball?
I do.
Oh my goodness, it was a great time back there. Do you know what other drinks that I loved?
What's that?
I loved, so MSC is unique in the fact that they have Cirque-like shows in their apt theater.
Yes.
And those shows come with a cocktail.
They do.
So yes, they do cost a little bit of money, $12 as of the time of this recording if you book it before your cruise, but it comes with a cocktail. And remember that mule that we got?
That was so good.
It was one of the best drinks we had on the ship, and then we couldn't find it anywhere else. But I loved the fact that theater had drinks in it.
Yes, it was great. I know we already mentioned it, but the fact that there is a bar in the buffet was outstanding.
I love that.
It was so convenient. And we didn't just need to go up there for alcohol. You could go up there and get a can of soda. You can get your waters from that bar. It was great having that service there.
I loved it on NCL Encore, and I absolutely loved it on MSC Meraviglia.
Yeah.
The other drinks that we loved on board, the afternoon tea service.
Oh, that was so fun.
It was wonderful. And because we were Yacht Club, it was included. And it was in our top sail lounge, and it was served by the butlers. Remember?
It was.
White glove
glove
service.
Yes.
It's the first time I think I've ever actually seen, we always say white glove service. This was the first time I think I've actually seen white glove service.
Yeah.
And those teas.
They were good. They had a great selection.
Normally, I'm used to, they come over and they say, which tea bag would you like?
Yeah.
They actually
No.
came over with the tea leaves, the actual leaves, and said, which one looks, which smell, investigate the leaf of the tea.
Yeah.
And it was such a great experience.
It really was.
And unlike some cruise lines, it was included in our fare.
Well, that is a lot to love about the drinks.
So much to love about the drinks. Like you said, we didn't go thirsty.
No, we did not.
Oh, and remember, one last thing that we didn't even mention.
Oh.
Every single night before bed during turn down service, the butler would leave a bottle of water by our bedside table on a little card that said, good night.
I'm sorry, MSC Yacht Club. I stole it.
It was such a cool experience. I loved that.
It was awesome. All right, let's move into what we loved about the entertainment.
The reality is, we wouldn't have had to even left the yacht club if we didn't want to. They had Latin dancers up there. They had singers. They had, Mary. Remember Mary's
Mary was
vocals?
amazing.
Oh, she was amazing. The piano player that was up there throughout the day. They had
The magician.
The magician. The afternoon tea that we mentioned in the previous section. There was always something going on in the yacht club. We loved it. But we did. Oh, and Deck 19.
Yeah, Deck 19. We had a pool up there. We had a hot tub. We had space to lay out and just let the sea pass us by.
It was wonderful. So you really didn't have to leave that ship within a ship if you didn't want to.
Right.
But we did.
We did.
Because we wanted to check out the entertainment on board. And there was a lot on board a ship the size of MSC Meraviglia.
Yes, there was. It was so nice having access to all of the shows that we wanted to get to. All we had to do was talk to our concierge, who would arrange for a butler to walk us down to the theater of choice for the show that we wanted to see. We didn't need to make reservations ahead of the cruise like some cruise lines require. We even purchased our Cirque show tickets at the concierge desk, so it was just a quick whisk away down the halls.
I'm telling you, when I say these things opened doors for us, they literally not only opened the doors, but they bypassed all of the lines that were waiting at the doors. And so the butler would escort us past the line at the theater and would bring us to our dedicated yacht club seating area, would undo the ropes, allow us to enter, would redo the ropes, and they had a butler stationed there. So if someone tried to break into our area, no, yacht club only. That was unlike anything I've ever experienced.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And the shows that we did get to see in the theater and the carousel lounge were phenomenal. We were very impressed with all of the different shows that we had the opportunity to watch.
Now, some of the friends that we met on board, they said they didn't love them as much because there wasn't a story behind the show. They weren't like a Broadway show that tells a story. There was a lot of singing, a lot of dancing. We love those. Those are the shows that we're used to seeing on board. And so with a varied demographic, a very diverse demographic of cruisers from all around the world on MSC, I think these shows probably resonate the most because music communicates to all.
Yeah, music is a universal language.
Yes.
And honestly, we had the opportunity to meet the cast of the Broadway shows, and they were amazing. Mm-hmm. We found out that the shows that are on MSC Meraviglia were written for that cast.
Yes.
They got to work with the writers and the producers and come up with all of these shows that they perform.
Yes, and so they will be rolling out to other ships in the fleet, but we didn't know that we were getting to see Disco Circus for one of the first times ever on stage. It was super cool.
It was awesome.
But they didn't just have shows on that stage in the Broadway Theater.
They had Master Chef at Sea. They actually invited 3 sets of people to come up on the stage, and they uncovered the food, and they had
their boxes, their Master Chef boxes.
Yep, and they had to do their own presentation and preparation of a meal.
It was
so cool.
So cool. And the kiddos had a version in the kids' space as well, somewhere on the ship.
Yeah.
They had their own version of Master Chef Junior. So it was such a cool experience.
Very fun. But that's not the only theater that's on this ship. There's also the Carousel Lounge.
That's where we saw Houdini, those Cirque-like shows. And so Houdini, we loved it. There was acrobatics and aerialists and weightlifters and dancers and all sorts of stuff. Those free drinks that I mentioned in what we loved about the drink section. There was plenty of space in that theater as well. They were not sold out shows.
No.
I would. Would I recommend, would I spend $12 or even $18? Yeah, I would. I think the experience was really neat. Would I spend $12 or $18 again? Probably not.
Yeah.
But I loved that I had that option, and I loved that there was just one more entertainment show that we had the ability to see.
Yeah, I totally agree. One other thing that I think is worth mentioning is our stop at Ocean Cay. When we were at Ocean Cay, unfortunately, the weather did not really do much good for us. It was raining.
That's a didn't love. But MSC can't control that.
Not at all. However, they still stayed docked till our normal time, which allowed us the opportunity to be able to watch the Lighthouse show. What a cool experience. Now, being in the yacht club, we were kind of closed off up in the lounge and the restaurant, and we didn't really feel like going up to deck 19
cold
for fear
and
that it
raining.
would be raining on us. So we asked the concierge, hey, where do you recommend we go to watch the Lighthouse show?
I love having a concierge. I'm going to really miss that on my upcoming sailings. The concierge said, "Oh well, down on this deck, it's the crew smoking area, but it is open to passengers. You can get there, and it's going to give you the perfect view. And since it's on one of the outer covered decks, you're also going to get the sounds from the show, from the Lighthouse show."
It was awesome. They did not disappoint. You can see it was raining. It was such a cool show.
It really was. Well, on a cruise ship, the weather is not always going to be perfect, as we just mentioned, and that was true with the main deck parties. They moved those all inside to Galleria Meraviglia, and so that is deck 6, deck 7, that 2-story domed screen area.
Very Fremont Street experience.
Such a cool experience on board the ship, and so they moved a bunch of the entertainment shows and the parties into there. Loved that experience. Loved the dome. Loved how it changed throughout the day. Loved the different elements that they put on it. Even, remember during muster?
Yeah, during muster, they had all of the different muster stations listed.
How cool. They used that all day, every day, and all night. At night, it was stars and a darker color. Such a cool space. I really like that.
Yeah, me too. And then they also had a couple of deck parties that we were able to get to up on the top deck. And one of those was the white party. My gosh.
I will say we loved having the deck parties outside. We're going to talk a little bit about what we didn't love about the entertainment here in a little bit, but we loved when those deck parties were outside.
Yeah, and that white party was a huge party.
It was huge. It was happening.
It was. And then one other space that was outdoors that we got to enjoy on the back of the ship, and that was the Horizon area. So that's the adult-only space. There was a pretty fun little deck party that we went to back there under the stars, and it was beautiful.
I love that. I danced the night away back underneath the stars. Really enjoyed that.
It was really cool.
One of the other parties we didn't mention in Galleria Meraviglia is MSC. They make their loyal cruisers feel very welcome. They threw us a welcome back party, and they served lots of champagne.
Yes.
There were lots of drinks being served at that welcome back party, and it was done in that domed space. They played a really touching tribute video to MSC Cruises.
Kind of showing their story. We learned so much about the cruise line.
It was super cool. I really loved that.
Yeah, it was awesome. And one other thing that I think is worth mentioning in this entertainment space, and that was the fact that we had a beautiful balcony with the view of New York skyline as we were setting sail as the snow was falling. I just painted a whole picture for you.
It was the most beautiful. It was the best view of New York City I've ever seen. And I've been there a bunch of times. Statue of Liberty, I don't think I've ever been closer.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool.
It was super cool.
It was awesome.
And we got to see Carnival Venezia sail by. That was entertainment to me. Okay, that's the food, drinks, entertainment. Let's jump into miscellaneous.
We got miscellaneous, and we're going to rapid fire through them.
It starts with boarding. We loved the Yacht Club boarding experience. You got early embarkation. You got the priority check-in. You got the priority lounge to wait to board the ship, where they handed us
these cool little packets When you unfolded it, it had all of your information inside. How cool is that?
Your key card, as well as your bracelet that can be used anywhere on the ship to buy drinks or check into your room.
Yep.
That was such a cool experience. I love that.
Right. We were also among the first to board the ship.
We've already talked about the Top Sail Lounge. We've talked about the Top Sail Restaurant. We love those features on the Yacht Club.
We also loved the 24/7 concierge that was available.
Awesome. Anything that you needed, any time of day or night, it was there.
We also loved that stateroom.
The deluxe suite, highly recommended if you're looking at the Yacht Club cabin. I also loved that any time that we needed to go anywhere, we could request a butler escort. I know that's in the general section, but I loved that. So if we wanted to get off the ship, Ocean Cay, for example, the butler escorted us down, passed all of the lines, walked us off of the ship, and walked us to the special waiting area for
right.
Yacht Club guests.
Yep.
I loved that escort. I realize it's probably not needed in the day-to-day, but I did love it as part of this experience.
It was cool. We loved the inclusions that came with the Yacht Club. Yes. From the Wi-Fi to the premium drinks. It was amazing.
Do you know what actually is free, though, to all passengers on board?
The chat.
What? We pay for that chat on other cruise lines, and it was included. So when we met new friends on board, we could just scan their QR code, add them to the chat, and we could say, hey, we're meeting at this lounge at 9:30. Let's all go. That was something I loved, and MSC has got right.
Hello, technology. We also loved that we had access to the Aurea Spa. We just needed to talk to the concierge and make a reservation to go down.
It was great. They have saunas, they have steam rooms, they have pools, they have stone chairs. Again, we're going to talk about the stone chairs here in a little bit, so stick around. But that spa space was very relaxing. The harmonica room.
Not the harmonica room. The harmonic vibes room was great.
The last thing I will say that I loved in this rapid fire section in general about the ship was the fact that the Yacht Club was key card or wristband access. It was really neat because you didn't have to, when we went to the bar, that meant we didn't have to show our cards to buy drinks. When we went to the restaurant, we didn't have to check into an app and we didn't have to tell them that how many were dining. We literally just were able to walk around in that space. They kept glass doors. The Yacht Club looks out into the elevator bank, so people could see us moving around and milling about in there, which was a little, I think that was intentional. They want to create this exclusive feel for the Yacht Club guests. It did. It worked. But we really liked, I loved that it was behind, that you had to badge in to get in there.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Well, I think that covers for everything that we loved about our experience on MSC Meraviglia in the Yacht Club.
And as always, that's the biggest part of this review because there's so much to love about a cruise ship. But there are some things we didn't love. So should we go there?
I think so.
Okay.
Let's start by looking at the things that we didn't love about the Yacht Club experience, and then we'll move into the general ship items.
Sounds great. One of the first things we didn't love about the Yacht Club is we didn't know where to drop the bags off. And a porter took them originally, and the Yacht Club staff was like, no, you come over here with the bags. And so we had to find the porter, had to grab the bags, bring them over to the Yacht Club, and get tagged. I would have liked a little bit more direction or signage for that bag drop.
I agree. Once we were on the ship, to use the elevators, there's Yacht Club priority service on the elevators where you can wave your band or scan your card, and it's supposed to assign an elevator to you that takes you exactly to where you want to go. Unfortunately, it was not very reliable. There were many times that we would be frustrated trying to call an elevator when other elevators would open and close in the amount of time that we were waiting.
And our priority call would disappear. It was kind of frustrating. Again, first world problems, but don't offer the service if it doesn't work.
Agreed.
I also didn't love the exclusive space in the theater for Yacht Club. It was at the very aft of the theater, the very back of the theater. And so as the show started, everyone would walk in front of you and it would block your view of the shows. Now it's intentional, right? It's like first class. MSC wants everyone to have to walk past the Yacht Club and they want you to be in this elevated roped off section. But the section was not good. The seats were not good. No. And so as a result, many times, we literally once I had to say down in front because someone was just watching the show standing in front of us.
Yeah, not a great experience. Something else, kind of a design choice that was a little strange in the staterooms. Those deluxe suites only had one sink basin.
It was weird. So we couldn't get ready at the same time. Even in smaller rooms, we've had dual sinks. And so that was a weird design choice. And also, speaking of the stateroom, the pillow selection, we had to do a whole survey about what pillows we wanted, what newspapers we wanted, what we wanted in the mini bar ahead of the cruise.
Yep, and none of that was done.
None of that transferred over. And so it was fine.
Yeah.
Nilesh still asked us all about it, but I didn't love that they asked me about that. And then on board, I had to redo it all anyway.
Right.
What was the point?
No, kind of strange. And speaking of weird things in the room, we didn't have any pool towels. So if we wanted to go up to deck 19, it was actually pretty easy because there were towels right as you walked out the door. But if we wanted to go hang out with our friends in any other pools, we didn't have pool towels.
No. In fact, I went to the pool stand one day and said, could I get a towel? And she said, no, you can only exchange towels. I said, well, I don't have towels in the room. She was like, well, then you can't get a towel. And so we shared that with the concierge, and they're like, oh no, they should still be able to give you towels at the towel check-in. So we didn't love that. It was weird.
Yeah, very strange. There were only a couple of food items that we didn't love about this sailing, and one of those was our in-room breakfast. The food was just mediocre at best. It really wasn't that exciting. We're not sure if it came from the buffet upstairs or if it came from a different kitchen. But the food was not at the right temperature.
It had like Kraft singles cheese strips on the eggs Benedict that weren't melted. It was strange.
It was
not good.
No, it was not.
It's not good. We didn't love that.
Right.
I also didn't love, so they make it a point to say whatever you want, they will make happen on board in the yacht club. And so one night I was like, oh, can I get a ham and pineapple pizza? No, absolutely. We don't have pineapple. You can't have pineapple on the pizza. Well, that was strange because the next night I went to the buffet, late night buffet, got a piece of pizza, walked right next door to the health station and grabbed pineapple and put them on my pizza, literally right next door. And so to me, if you're creating this exclusive experience and you say, we will go out of our way, literally the pineapple was right here. So I made, going forward, if I wanted ham and pineapple, I would just make my own.
We didn't love the fact that there was a cost to watch some of the shows on board in that carousel lounge.
Yeah.
The shows were good, and we liked that they included the drink, but overall, didn't love having to pay for it.
It was kind of weird. Speaking of entertainment we did not love, I hinted at it earlier, we didn't love that Galleria Meraviglia space for the deck parties and the spaces where they had to put things when it was inclement weather. It was a small space for the number of people that came out for those parties, and it's also the space how you get forward and aft on the ship. And so you had to really make your way through the crowds if you were trying to navigate that space. And I also didn't love, and I hate to say this, I really do.
Me too.
But I didn't love the silent disco.
Disco's sideways.
It was not a good experience. The checkout process, they had a person on each side of this crowded space writing down folio numbers and checking them out, and you had to sign the piece of paper acknowledging that if you kept them, they were going to charge you. It slowed down the process. It was the only line we waited in all week or all 9 days, and it was backed up. We waited in that line 15 minutes, and then the headphones didn't even really work in that space.
They had bleed over of other channels onto the channel you were listening to, and it was really hard.
Loud pops of static while you were dancing.
Yeah, and it was really hard to know what channel you were on. If you looked at someone else, you had to look square onto their ear because the color ring here just said, yeah, this is on and working. I didn't love silent disco. I hate saying that because, we love those. We went back for the second time. We gave it a second shot. We did give them a second try. And it was worse the second time. I think it was no improvement. I think it got worse. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you, I love bowling, but not on a cruise ship when it's going to cost me $1 a minute to throw a ball down the lane.
Yikes.
Not a cheap bowling experience.
No. MSC Meraviglia has some really cool experiences. The Formula One racers, the bowling alley, but they all come at a fairly hefty cost.
They do.
We didn't do any of them because we were like, well, it's too rich for our blood.
From the yacht club.
When talking about Ocean Cay, we already mentioned it. We didn't love the weather outside of MSC's control. We also didn't love the food trucks. So we stopped by the food trucks to try the hamburgers and the pasta salads and the hot dogs, and it was just okay food. That was the first time in 9 days I felt like I had just standard buffet food.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was not my favorite. I am glad we had the Ocean Cay experience.
Likewise. Also, something strange when we got back on the ship. If you were looking for something to do, read a book perhaps, good luck finding the library. There was a total of, I want to say, 3 or 4 books.
3 books and 1 pamphlet.
Yes. And I think only one of those was in English. It was located in the smoke-free casino.
So they converted that space. They
did.
converted the space. It used to be the library. They said, nope, no one is using the library. Let's put a casino in here, but we'll keep the bookshelves. And there were 3 books and 1 pamphlet. It was weird.
2 more things. One of the other things that we didn't love was the meetups. They were unhosted. It was nice that they had them in the app and they told you where to go. But once you got there, you had to awkwardly look for other people that were in the same group that you were trying to find. And they were at busy bars.
Busy bars.
So it was very difficult once you did find others to find a place where you could all sit down. Didn't love that.
Didn't love that. And speaking of didn't love, if you needed to use a public washroom while you were on board, those sensors and sinks were terrible. I mean, it was one of those experiences where you're looking for the sensor and you're trying to put your hand and you hopefully you get some soap and then you have to do the same thing for the water and the blower is under there as well. It just didn't love that. Again, small nit. Most of the didn't loves were small things that would not keep us from sailing or even recommending MSC again to others.
Very true. And with that takes us to the end of what we didn't love. Not a huge list, but we have an even smaller list coming for you on what we hated. I'm not one that likes to have to chug my drink whenever I get it. I want to be able to sip it and enjoy all the flavors and just take my time. That was not the case for the Broadway Theater. You were not allowed to bring any beverages of any sort into the theater. I hated that I had to stand outside the theater with several other passengers to finish off my drink. I hated that.
We've talked about this. We mapped this all out. That was something he hated. I didn't mind. I don't drink when I go to theater shows anyway because I'm always afraid I'm going to have to use the washroom. So I didn't mind it, but yes, I can understand why people would. And it was weird seeing a group of people chugging their drinks outside the theater.
It was a drinking contest.
But the butler always took his glass away. May I take your glass, Mr. Rocky? Well, you sure can. Another thing that I hated on board was the location of the kids' clubs. It was bizarre. So you had the nightclub and the kids' clubs all together, and then the after bar, the late night bar, again, was right outside of there. So there were several nights that we saw moms with their little babies, literal babies, drinking from bottles or playing on their PlayStations as they were drinking drinks and people were partying on the dance floor. There were many times underage kids were in the adults only area as people were drinking, doing shots, partying. It was the most bizarre area. It was what one of the passengers called hashtag MSC sketch.
Oh, we're gonna put that up on the screen. Another thing that we hated, and we've experienced this before on a different ship, was the side thrusters when the ship was docking. That room vibrated violently as we were docking. And a cruise tip that we have is to make sure that you separate all of your glass bottles, if that's a problem, so that they're not rattling when the ship is pulling in.
Ding, ding. It was
an orchestra.
Yeah.
Hated that. It woke us up. We knew we were in port.
Yep. And do you know where it was the worst? So I don't mind. You know what? I don't normally mind being woken up on a cruise because it gets me out of the room and it gets me out of bed.
Yeah.
But when you get into Port of New York at like 5 a.m. and you've stayed up until late, I didn't. I hated that.
That was not great.
Hated that.
Yeah.
We mentioned that we loved having access to the spa as part of the yacht club amenities, and we really did. But what I hated about that spa, the size of this ship had 3 relaxing stone chairs. 3. One of which was out of service. There were 2 stone chairs, and I will tell you, the same couple stayed in those stone chairs. Anytime we were in the spa, they were in those stone chairs. Why on earth even have them if you're going to have 3 for the size of the ship? And then one of them wasn't working. In fact, 2 of the areas in the spa didn't work the entire 9 days that we were there. The Mediterranean...
Mediterranean bath.
It was weird. Yeah. Loved that the spa was included. And I loved the sauna and the steam but I hated those stone chairs. Hated them.
Yes. As Mark mentioned, the early wake-up call when we were docking in New York also led to an early get-out-of-your-room call. 7:30 in the morning, we had to vacate our rooms, and we hated that.
How opposite from a Valiant Lady with Virgin Voyages, where I was taking a shower at 9 a.m. in the room. I loved that.
Right.
I hated hated this.
Yes.
Why?
No idea. It was terrible.
It was not a great experience. Now, we were able to go up to the Top Sail restaurant and have breakfast in the Top Sail lounge before leaving the ship. We forgot to mention we loved our butler escorted us off the ship at the very end, or escorted us down to security, carried my luggage, carried my bags, my backpack, carried my little handheld suitcase. Loved that. Sorry, Nilesh. We forgot that in the loved section, but we hated you kicking us out of the room at 7:30.
Right. Thanks a lot.
And the last thing on the hated list, we've already mentioned this, but that gift shop, it was a poor excuse of a gift shop. We hated it. We hated that there were like 5 items on that shelf and none of them were correctly sized. It was just such a miss.
Yeah.
We wanted to buy, we were so excited from this sailing, we wanted to buy MSC merch and we didn't buy a single thing.
No. Oh well, our pockets came home fuller.
It's true.
Well, that is a lot to talk about the Yacht Club experience on MSC Meraviglia.
If you get a chance to sail in the Yacht Club, I will tell you 10 out of 10. Rocky's going to have to put 10 ships up there for me because I'm giving this a 10 ship experience. Because not only all of the things that we talked about that we loved on this ship, there were surprise and delight moments throughout the cruise. Remember these mixed nuts that Nilesh dropped off for us? Remember the little treats?
Yes.
Every night he dropped off, the butler or our junior butler would drop off
the little
peanut
box.
brittle.
Yes. Peanut brittle. They dropped off a basket of fruit. They brought in some different chocolates that were from the chocolatier on board.
It was... I loved this.
I'll let you know, I have not had one nut from that jar.
The chocolates, literally the box of chocolates that they gave to us to say thank you for cruising.
That was the final night. We still haven't opened it.
And we loved the gift.
Yes, we got an awesome gift from the welcome back party from MSC. It was a drawstring backpack. How cool.
I'm going to let you talk to these. These were so cool.
Our butler saw us walking all over the ship with our charger and cable to our phones because we have to record content. And he had a problem with all of the cable that was dangling from our pockets. So he said,
you need
I'm
Velcro.
going to get you some Velcro. We did not expect to see this.
Custom printed MSC Yacht Club Velcro straps. He even strapped up our cords for us on the bureau so that they were taken care of. And I'm telling you, we will keep these forever. Those surprise and delight type of moments are exactly what MSC wants you to talk about. They want you to experience it and share with your friends.
Yes.
The Yacht Club, when I say it was unlike any experience I've ever had. I mean, we've been to all-inclusives and we've been on a lot of different ships. We talked to 4 or 5 different couples on board that were regular Haven users.
Yeah.
What did every single one of those couples say to us?
They loved the Yacht Club and they will not go back to the Haven.
They're not going back. This product, honestly, it sells itself. It is a phenomenal experience. There are so many upgrades and inclusions that you get on your cruise fare. It's why we've already booked MSC again. Now, we did book a standard room this time to compare the two, but we loved the experience so much on board MSC Meraviglia.
It was great. If you're looking to book MSC, let me know. I'm happy to help.
Yep.
We didn't just book back onto the MSC Meraviglia. We also booked ourselves onto MSC World America for her inaugural cruise. So stick around to the channel. If you haven't done it already, please give this video a like.
Hit that subscribe button, which I know you've already done because you're going to help us reach our goals.
And smash that notification bell so you are aware of any videos that we put out to the channel.
We know this was a lot, but there's a lot to love with 9 days in a Yacht Club suite. And so we hope you enjoyed this as much as we did putting it together for you. Until next time.
We'll see you on the sea.